Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Headbanger's Closet. Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a very Merry Christmas and a great New Year's Day. So, first video 2023, I want to go back to 2022 and talk about one of the best concerts, the best concert I saw last year, and one of the best concerts I've ever seen. I'm talking about Metallica's show tribute to Johnny and Marsha Zazula. The show they played in Hollywood, Florida, at the Hard Rock Live venue at the Seminole Hard Rock and Hotel Casino, Hollywood, Florida. They played it November 6, 2022. It was a Sunday night. I was able to go. Wanted to talk about that show and the merch I picked up at the show, which obviously goes into the collection. Some of the items, if you've been watching my channel the last couple months rather, you probably would have noticed a few posters over there that I got from that show. So anyway, kind of start the scene. This past June, I went to Chicago to see Metallica at Lollapalooza, and the rumor was they were going to do one more show at the Hard Rock Live venue at the Seminole Casino in Hollywood, Florida. They did one last fall, fall of 2021. I did not go to that one, but the word on the street was they were going to do another one. So, all summer goes by, early fall, and there's no word. Starting to think there's not going to be a show. Excuse me. And then they announced they're going to have a show. They put out the ad on social media, and this is it. I took this photo off Metallica's Twitter, but this was on all of Metallica's social media. This is the advertisement for the show. As you can see, Raven there. It is a throwback to the Kill 'Em All for One tour they did back in '83. Megaforce Records, Johnny and Marsha Zazula heavily involved in that as well. Just kind of want to show you guys, or read it. Read what this ad says. So it's the blackened whiskey, and it's got where the show's at, the Hard Rock. There it is right there. Sorry about the glare on the phone. Not a professional. It's just doing this for fun, man. Anyway, so it says, "Come celebrate Raven and Metallica as they pay tribute to the lives of Johnny and Marsha Zazula and their contribution to heavy metal by playing songs from this era, '83 to '84. So when I read that, I was like, whoa, no way, dude. They're going to play songs from Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning only. So I was stoked. Immediately got tickets when they went on sale a couple of days later. Booked my flight, quick flight from Atlanta to Hollywood, or I think it was Fort Lauderdale, Florida is when I flew into. Anyway, flew in the day of the show. Big no-no for me. I don't like doing that. I've actually never done that. I always, whenever I go to a destination concert, I always like to fly in the day before. We've all heard the horror stories, flight cancellations, delays, stuff like that. You missed the show, whatever. But I lucked out. Booked my flight early that morning, day of show. I got there mid-morning. Met up with some friends that we were all sharing a Airbnb. Met up with those guys maybe like around 11 o'clock, 11:30 in the morning. Started drinking beer, had some food, hanging out. After a few hours at the house, we decided to make the quick ride over, just a 5-minute ride to the casino. So we get to the casino. It's more hanging out with a lot of good friends of ours, drinking beers, eating some pizza, chilling out, hanging out by the sports bar area of the casino. There's a lot of NFL games on that day, and walked by the entrance to the venue inside the casino. It said, the marquee was up there, said Metallica, and you can't line up. Reason being is the venue is inside the casino. It's on the casino floor. So if you're lining up, there's a big walkway there that you'd be blocking, as well as blocking people from getting to the slot machines and into a couple of the different restaurants that were right there. So they don't let you line up. And I had heard that before from some of the people that went to that first show in the fall of 2021, that it was kind of a pain in the ass. You can't really line up, so it's hard for the folks that want to be the first in to get in line early and get to the rail early. Luckily for me, I just wanted to get to the merch booth early. I had no real interest in getting the rail. Don't need to anymore. Whenever we go into these shows, I was a general admission for this one, and you can get fourth or fifth person from the rail. It's not that big of a deal. When the crowd starts to move, you kind of sneak your way up. Pretty close to it anyway, so it's I'm not going to go in early. Going to hang out with my friends, enjoy it, have a few beers, eat some food, and when I get in there, I'll go to the merch booth. So doors open, and a little bit later we decided to walk in, and I go right to the merch booth and immediately saw what I wanted. I had heard there were going to be 2 posters for the show, one for Kill 'Em All, one for Ride the Lightning, as well as a few different shirts. So immediately I set my sights on the posters and one of the shirts. Got in line and was able to pick up this shirt right here. Tony Squindo design. It's the Jump in the Fire Demon guy from Kill 'Em All. And it says Kill 'Em All for one tour, or Kill 'Em All for one in white, and then in the red letters below it, it says one more time for Johnny and Marsha. And on the back, just like I said from the advertisement, it's the kind of like a throwback to the Kill 'Em All for one tour, where Metallica was in support of Raven. They went around the U.S. on the Kill 'Em All for one tour back in '83. And this time, Raven's in support of Metallica. So, got the t-shirt. Like I said, there was a few other ones there, but they really didn't catch my eye. So, the next item I want to show you is the Squindo poster version of that shirt. The Jump in the Fire guy. Wow. The glare is really bad on this. I'm shooting this video during the daytime. Normally I do it at night and it's a little different, but apologize for that, but hopefully you can check it out. It says Kill 'Em All for one, Jump in the Fire guy, and then it's got the venue and then the city right here. So pretty cool. I'm a big fan of Squindo's work. I've got a handful of his posters already. A few of them are behind me on the wall. Next poster is the Ride the Lightning version. I'm not really sure who did this one, but it's really cool. There's the Ride the Lightning electrocution guy, and then of course, it says Metallica with Metallica right here with Black and Whiskey on the top. It's got Raven, and then tribute to Johnny and Marsha Zazula, and then there's a lot of like show flyers there on the side as well. So that was pretty cool. So awesome posters. Two of my favorite posters in my entire collection, actually. So I'm really stoked to be able to get those. Put them in the tube. Put my shirt in my pocket and grabbed a couple beers with some more friends and decided to walk into the to the area where the floor was. So I've never been to this place. Just from the casino floor, it basically looks like you're walking into a movie theater, right? It's got the marquee right there and then some of the doors. And you walk in, and again, a movie theater, you got some like concessions, and then a long hallway, and you go through these curtains. You walk down this long ramp, and then there's the floor. So right off the bat, when I get in, it's absolutely phenomenal. Beautiful venue. It looks, it is new, but it just looks brand new and pristine. Looking up behind me to the seating area, it's like theater seating. A couple of different levels of the theater seating, really cool. The stage was awesome. Really big stage. A big place, in my opinion, for that kind of venue. Much bigger than a typical theater, if you ask me. I've been to a handful of them, but really, really nice, big stage. Not as quite as large lengthwise of a stage as what we would see when Metallica's playing like a stadium or arena, but really big. They had a lot of room to run around. So anyway, Raven comes out, and they're cool. I dig Raven. I don't know too much about them. There's a handful of songs I dig, assuming they played songs just from that Megaforce Records era, 83, 84 as well. They sounded good. The Metallica crowd seemed to be into it and, receptive. Definitely looked really old. The guitar player looked like, he must have put on 70, 80 pounds. Since those days, long hair, but half bald, so it was kind of funny. I'm not here to make fun of them. I thought it was great. They were out there playing well. You could tell they were happy and stoked to be there. They sounded good. And like I said, the Metallica crowd was into it. A lot of people in front, giving up the devil horns and headbanging, so it was good. So then they go off, and then Eddie Trunk comes on, and went out to get a beer, and I'm fairly certain that before Eddie Trunk was there, Johnny and Marsha Zazula's daughters came out too. But anyway, so Eddie Trunk comes out there, and he's just talking about Johnny and Marsha Zazula and Megaforce Records, and how he got a call from them, and like, hey, there's this new band we really believe in, we really love. They're called Metallica. We want you to play your their demo song on your radio station. And he's like, I can't do this. I can't play unknown band's demo on my channel, on my station. But he did. They convinced him to do it, and they convinced him to come to work for them a little bit after that. So it was cool to hear Eddie Trunk talk about the band, and then Johnny and Marsha Zazula as well, and those stories from back in the day. He was from Jersey, and just same place they were. They had Rock and Roll Heaven at the flea market in Jersey there. And, he talked about Anthrax, who was also part of Megaforce Records, and he just told a lot of cool stories. And then they played video interviews that Johnny and Marsha had done through the years, where they talked about the same thing. Starting Megaforce Records, getting Metallica out there, those early shows in the tri-state area in New York in New Jersey in particular, and you could tell just how much they cared about the guys in Metallica. Like, they believed in them that much to pay for them to come over from California all the way to Jersey. A lot of shows in New York, all throughout upstate New York as well, and in Jersey. They let them stay at their house and in other places like around their house. A lot of pictures on the big screen from those early days with Johnny and Marsha and their daughters, and then the guys in Metallica as well. Pictures of Sunday dinners where everyone's around the dinner table. They cooked dinner for Metallica because Metallica had no money, no money to eat, so they were helping them out in that respect as well. Anthrax helping Metallica out on a bunch of occasions as well, and all those interviews, the stuff with the daughters, and then Eddie Trunk just telling those stories. Really, really cool, awesome stuff to hear. Just one of the small things that made it one of the best concert experiences I've ever seen. Just really, really cool to hear those stories from people from back in that era who were there and who lived through it, and just really interesting to hear their perspective on it as well. So anyway, after that, it's over. Metallica takes the stage, and I was really excited about hearing, just those early era songs. I was expecting a lot of deep cuts from those first two albums, and it did not disappoint. They come out, they looked happy to be there. They sounded great. Creeping Death was the first song, and then Ride the Lightning. Then you had Motor Breath and No Remorse, and they're just playing awesome. It sounds great, and I'll be honest, this is my 81st Metallica show, and I can say the 100% fact and honesty that in the past couple of years, there have been two shows in particular that I thought their sound just wasn't on point. Wasn't necessarily them. It's just whatever was going sound-wise, it wasn't up to snuff, Metallica standards of what I've been used to seeing all those shows. Some of us, if you are a big Metallica fan, you know that Big Mick's not with them anymore. Unfortunately, he's sick and back in the UK, so might have been, it was a festival show, both of those shows, that didn't sound that great. So it might have been just the sound at the festival, I don't know. But this show sounded amazing. So after No Remorse, we get Trapped Under Ice, which was a huge highlight for me. Love that song. Only the second time I've ever heard it live, so just really, really cool to hear that song. Then we got Call of Cthulhu, Phantom Lord, and then Am I Evil? And another treat of the show, they played the whole thing. So I really got to watch Kirk just go nuts on that guitar solo that I absolutely love. First time I've ever heard that in its entirety live. Then after that, we get Metal Militia, From the Bell Tolls, Whiplash, Fade to Black, Seek and Destroy, Fight Fire with Fire, and then the highlight of the show for me, by far, was Blitzkrieg. First time I've ever heard Blitzkrieg live. It sounded awesome. And right when the first few notes of that riff came in, and the crowd understood what song it was, they went absolutely bananas. I mean, whole crowd goes screaming wild, and Kirk's on his side of the stage, James is on his side of the stage. They both look at each other and then look at Rob and Lars, and they're all like, huge smiles on their face, just to hear the crowd's reaction. And they played it, sounded awesome. Loved that part of it. Easily the best part of the show. And then they closed with Hit the Lights. So really cool closing. Lately here, Hit the Lights has been the first song they've been playing. But awesome to see that as a closer. Awesome performance overall. Just really, really cool to see those guys play those old tunes. Awesome to see Eddie Trunk and Johnny Marsha's daughters, and then the interviews of Johnny and Marsha as well. All that stuff, along with the performance, just kind of was almost like a time capsule going back to that era. And all throughout the show, there were pictures from those days on the big screens. There were so many cool show flyers from all those early shows. Like I said, in the New York and New Jersey area, on the big screens, you can kind of check out those flyers. It's really, really cool stuff. Awesome performance overall. Grabbed a couple of pics from it. The advertisement thing I just showed you a minute ago. Same thing right here is the guitar pick. And then on the back, right there. So really, really cool. Was able to snag that. And then I was really lucky to get a James Hetfield White Fang. Don't have this one, so really excited to get in my collection. So now I have this one and then Kirk's little green one. But that's pretty cool. Got the Hetfield White Fang. So awesome. Set list, like I said, just couldn't be beat. The set list, the whole tribute to Johnny and Marsha Zazula and Megaforce Records founders, as well as, like I said a bunch of times already, the stories from the people who were there and lived through that era and were there to see it, just kind of made it one of the coolest shows I've ever been to. Out of 81 Metallica shows, it's got to be in the top 2 as far as like my favorite Metallica shows. Just awesome day. Awesome, the whole experience. Love it. Hopefully they go back to that venue because it's really cool. If you're ever online and you go to that website for the Hard Rock Live at the Seminole Casino, any band or artist you like is there. I highly recommend you guys checking it out. It's really cool. So back to this real quick. So I was able to get this particular one. Like I said, it was on all the Metallica social media platforms. I was able to swipe this photo off Twitter. I took it to this place to get printed out, and due to the size, it just wasn't happening at anything bigger than a 5x7, which is what this is. Unfortunately, it's got the white borders. Anything to kind of make it bigger cuts off the A and the C in Metallica, and then the R in Raven. So I didn't want to do that, obviously, but I've got another one. So if you are interested in this, you want it, just shoot me a message or something. I'd be happy to mail it out to you. If enough people want it, I'll go print some more out, and maybe we'll do like a contest where I just mail them out to a bunch of people or something like that. Maybe like you get more subscribers kind of contest. I've seen people in the VC community, the vinyl community here on YouTube doing that. So maybe I'll do that. I don't know. But send me a message if you're interested. I got one more left. Happy to mail it out. So anyway, if you want to talk about the show, feel free to leave a comment or not. It's cool. Anyway, awesome show. Really stoked at the items I got for the collection. If you've been watching my channel for the past couple months, you obviously would have seen those posters over there. I will get them hung up soon, but didn't want to hang them up before I did that particular episode for this channel. So anyway, hope you dig it. Hope everyone has a great new year, and I will have another video for you guys very soon. Cheers, guys.